Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Ne0 Gets to Know, the show where I get to meet players, personalities from all over the esports world. Today, I'm joined by none other than Regali. Brother, thank you very much for joining me. How you doing?
Thank you for asking me for this interview. I'm doing well, actually. What about you?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Let's go back to the start for you. How did you get started in esports? I think it's always an interesting question. What's your story? How did you get involved into being, essentially a professional CS:GO player? How did you get started?
Yeah, so when I was little, like 4 or 5, I've seen this game called CS point 1.6, and I think one of my father's friends was playing it, and every time we were visiting them, I
Sure.
was just going straight to that computer and yeah, try to play some.
Right.
Um, And my uncle, I remember, he had that game as well. So every time I was visiting him, the same story. I was just going straight to the computer, asking him to at least play it for me while
Sure.
I was watching. And then at 6 or still 5, maybe I can't remember exactly. Um, Somebody installed it on my computer.
Okay.
My father said, "Okay, let's do it," and then I was just playing it every day, I think. Um,
Damn.
Yeah, but I liked zombies more back then. I was yeah,
Classic.
little. But yeah, it was fun. Like I always played it for fun. And yeah, my parents allowed me. And
Which is good.
actually I was surprised, and I'm still surprised that they allowed me to play that much.
Was it ever competitive of kind of yourself and your dad? You say your dad played. Did you guys ever compete against each other? Was there any kind of family competition or like with his friends at all?
Me and my father were playing FIFA back then.
Okay, sure.
Um, but I remember at some point, maybe I was 8 or 9, I was like as good as my uncle, and I was going to his computer sometimes and try to play and show him that I'm better than him, but he wouldn't say so.
Sure. So what kind of drew you to kind of CS:GO and 1.6 over kind of other esports? Obviously, there's like League of Legends, Dota, Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, etc. What kind of drew you to being kind of CS:GO? Was it because you started so young in 1.6 and it was just kind of natural for you to progress into CS:GO?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so because there was no player I was watching
Sure.
when I was small, like, and I was playing 1.6. Like, I didn't know about Forest, Get Right, or
Of
anybody.
course. Yeah.
I found about them when I was playing CS:GO, and I found them like their history after. So yeah, it was just natural that I moved to CS:GO.
Fair enough. Well, I wanted to start by talking about the region as a whole, right? Romania has started to really have quite a few, pretty notable players start to make their way through. Yourself, Longs is starting to get really in the limelight. IM as well has been doing really good work. Talk to me about the scene and why we're starting to see youngsters like yourself, your Longs, IM, etc. really make a lot of progress and start to become so notable.
Yeah, I mean they just made it kinda. I remember like this year it was the boom of Romanian scene,
Of
I would say
course,
so,
yeah.
internationally speaking, because when COVID started, like a lot of Romanian players started to be recognized in some tournaments. Again, Romanian tournaments that one organization called Nexus Media has
Of course, yeah.
made it possible. So yeah, thankful, thankfully to them and to COVID situation, actually, we got to meet each other and recognize each other, at least in the country. And then the teams have shuffled in Romania, and the youngsters have been like recognized even more internationally with those invites
There we
in
go.
tier 2, tier 3 tournaments.
Yeah, I know, like, Next has been doing good work. Game Agents as well, another Romanian, all been doing really good work. Of course, you play for them for a bit. What is your story, actually, coming through the Romanian scene? How did you get started in terms of professional CSGO? Game Agents is your first kind of organization in terms of on HLTV, but what was your start? How did you get involved competitively?
Yeah, so just like I said, because of COVID again, I've met some old friends like Blitz that's playing for
Of
Enterprise
course,
now.
yeah.
Some others, we've made the mixed team, and we somehow qualified to a playoff of that tournament
Nice.
under COVID. And then, yeah, I think we got second place. We got beaten by Nexus. And after that tournament, the first tournament that was kind of big, uh, Romanians have progressed, and then we made a lot of teams in Romania, which Game Agents was like number 2. as
Mhm.
prestige and how good it is as
Yeah.
organization. And so we made a team. That owner like asked me, "Hey, do you want to play? Because you played good in that mixed team." And I said, "Yes, of course." But I wasn't OPER back then. Like
Okay. Yeah.
I wasn't OPER before Game Agents, but those friends that have asked me as well, "Hey, let's play in Game Agents, but you are going to be the OPER." I said, "Okay,
Right.
let's try." So it was all for fun. Like back then, there were no big salaries as well. It was just for fun, and
Mhm.
just playing under an org was kind of big for Romanians.
That's really cool. That is a kind of it's a really interesting way, a different way. I mean, COVID in a sense has kind of really helped your career in a weird way. But I want to also talk about kind of the scene itself. Obviously, it's very new in terms of how it's starting to have these stars like yourself and Lonks and IM, Blitz, etc. start to make their way forward. But what do you think's holding it back from being seen as one of the kind of the bigger regions? Obviously, everyone looks towards kind of Sweden, Denmark, etc. as being the place where you breed a lot of good talent. But what do you think's holding Romania back from kind of joining those lot?
I don't really know because I'm not really watching the Romanian scene, but
Sure.
I feel like I cannot say bad things about it, but I don't know what's stopping a team to progress. Um,
Mm.
Maybe the invitations to some tournaments. There are not really any invites to Romanian teams,
Right.
and there is no battle, I suppose, right now because I feel like One Tap Gaming, like a team from Romania, I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like it's number one for a long time now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they have some tournaments, but they are not like in every tier 3 2 tournament. So I don't really know. Maybe it's the lack of invites. Maybe I don't know because I
Sure.
know they are practicing a lot. So yeah, I have no idea. It could be the mentality, but I don't know. I don't really know.
I was going to ask about that. Is there anything you'd kind of want to see change within the Romanian scene? I know, like for example, in the UK, the mental is a big thing. Players get tilted, and there's maybe not as much fight towards the top end. Is there anything that you'd want to see change in the Romanian scene to maybe make it, a little bit stronger?
I mean, I haven't played with a lot of Romanians.
Mm,
Like Game Agents was the only team I've played with Romanians
sure.
because then I joined Fnatic Rising. So I don't really know about how things are working um, with some players and so on. But like, if there's any change to make, it would be maybe the investment or economically. Like maybe if the players would get some more money, they would focus more. I don't really know.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
I can't say.
It's a tough one to kind of talk about. Of course, you mentioned it, right? Fnatic Rising. That was kind of your next step, and probably for you, one of your biggest steps, right? It kind of really put you into the limelight, started to get a lot of eyes on you. How did Fnatic Rising come about? Because you were part of the original Fnatic Rising roster. Where did it all start?
Uh, so I wanted to leave Game Agents because I wanted to go internationally, like ASAP.
Mhm.
I felt like I wanted
Sure.
to. So I left it, and Fnatic has posted some kind of not not a quiz, but like, hey, do you want to join this team? Do you have what is needed and so on,
Okay.
like a survey, I think. I don't
Mhm.
know. And so I joined. I wrote there. I like to do that and that, and I'm playing an op.
Mhm.
And so I joined actually because the analyst of Fnatic right now was the IGL. His name is Kevin,
Mhm.
and then it was Golden as well. And I've asked them why and how the process was like getting me into that team, and they said, "Well, we watched some of your games on HLTV, and we liked you, and so you joined."
Oh, nice.
So that means I played good in that Romanian team, but we were lucky because we were good as well with game agents, but like we played some international tournaments that really matter
Mhm.
in terms of, hey, can that is that player capable of doing something internationally?
Sure.
Because we had the game against Complexity, which was top 10 back then,
Mhm.
and it was big, and I played good, and I think that game mattered a lot into the consideration of taking me to Fnatic Rising.
Right. And once you join Fnatic Rising, it's a very different setup from kind of what you had at Game Agents, right? I think, there's
Yeah.
a lot more on the line, a lot more pressure. Did you ever feel that pressure when you were kind of playing for Fnatic Rising? Because you mentioned kind of with Game Agents, it was a lot more casual. They were more your friends, wasn't a lot of kind of pressure, I guess, there. Did you ever start to feel the pressure when you joined Fnatic Rising, being like, okay, I'm now part of one of the biggest organizations ever in CSGO?
It was only the first month when we had that we play also season
Of
one, so
course,
it
yeah.
was a lot of pressure because a lot of people were watching because it was some new thing.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, I've seen like the practice routine of Fnatic Rising. It was almost the same as the main team.
Sure.
It was a summer vacation, so yeah, it was kind of full time for us, for all of us. Um, and I felt the pressure the whole first month because I knew how the routine was. It was like practice, and then we are going to have an official in front of maybe 10,000 people, and then play and prove yourself because it's an academy league and you have to prove yourself. So I did. Um, but yeah, after the first month, there was no pressure at all because I got friends. Like we were like talking a lot.
Of course.
Uh, yeah, it was also the pressure of meeting new people and
Yeah, yeah.
Fnatic as a organization. Feel like it's a lot business related. Like in the beginning, it was kind of so like everything was cold, the relationships and everything. But then it
Of
got
course.
warm.
That's good to hear. Well, talk me through WePlay as well. I think, when WePlay came onto the scene, everyone was kind of, like you said, had their eyes on it. It was this new thing where these youngsters were coming through. How important do you think WePlay is for kind of, building up young talents kind of like yourself?
To be honest, it was important. I don't see it that important right now, or maybe it's the lack of new talents because I've watched the last season and I feel like, except of Nipple, that is
Of
now
course, yeah.
the whole thing with Navi, like I've seen no new talents.
Yeah,
Like I
it's a sad
haven't
thing.
seen like a shining star, like I like not to brag about it, but like in the first 2 or 3 seasons, it was like Tori, JDC, Xerxion, Monesi, all of them,
I mean,
and it was competitive.
in that first season, right, when you had kind of that, Torzy, JDC, Xerxes, those guys were just dominating. Kind of, I think they won the first 4 seasons in a row. When you played against them, did they seem just like that much better than everybody else?
Uh, no, but I don't know. Like they had great communication. I feel like because there were those TeamSpeak reveal
Yes, yeah.
talks, and like their communication was on point, their aim was on point, and that we were were always talking about how good and experienced they are. Even it's an academy team, but like Shui, the IGL,
Yes, yeah.
like he had tier 2 experience before. Like they knew what they were doing.
Of
Where
course.
us as Fnatic Rising, like we were completely new to this kind of PS.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, so we talk about recent events as well. You've now been playing on the Copenhagen Flames. How did that opportunity come about? Because you played for Fnatic Rising, now you're playing with Copenhagen Flames. How did that kind of step up come through?
um, so after Nikodos got signed to Fnatic, to the main team, um, Karn asked me if I want to leave the academy because there's no sense of staying if another opera is signed. So he told me the offers he got, and I told him the offers I got. Um, and then, yeah, Copenhagen Flames wanted me, but that's thanks to the coach, Cube, who has been a coach for Fnatic Rising before. Um,
Of
so he
course.
knew what I can, he knew my potential, and then I believe so because of him. Copenhagen Flames wanted me, but I do not know if they bought me or not. But still,
Hey,
I said yes.
there we
It
go.
was a challenge for me when I heard it because it is the new language. It's like Danish. I've never played with Danish people before. I've never talked Danish in the game. I've never, I don't know, heard some Danish terms.
Sure.
It's a challenge, like still it is, but this team is helping me a lot. Like they knew what I'm lacking, but they know what I'm good at. So of course, stats wise, everyone can see that I'm playing better, but I still think that they only use me better.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I mean, recently, right? It's been going well. You said, you're struggling in Danish. I mean, you've been doing, playing very well as a roster. You won EDC season 6. You won CCT as well recently. You've been kind of pretty consistently getting up there in terms of the performances, especially within those tier 2 tournaments. I mean, how does that feel to kind of, from Fnatic Rising where you weren't right kind of at the top in the sense because Miles and XT were dominating for such a while. Now you're playing with Copenhagen Flames and you're winning the vast majority of the tournaments you're entering. That must feel pretty good.
it feels good because it happens at least after 4 months. But to be honest, everyone was talking about our potential and how good we can be. But after we failed to qualify to RMR,
Yeah,
uh, like I felt so sad for a long time, and
of
I've
course.
seen no potential actually because I didn't know these players I'm playing with. Like I only knew Borup, so I didn't know how good they are actually. It was all new for me, as I said. But somehow with hard work and Bird from Sky is doing some great work like behind the scenes. Um, I don't know, it just popped off, I think, because now we're playing great CS. We still need a lot of training, but like for some reason I know what I have to work on right
Of
now.
course.
I got the answers, unlike some other teams I've played with. So it's nice. Like I can improve for myself, but we're improving as a team as well. But yeah, it's like motivational, I would say, to continue
Okay.
working that hard when we are seeing results.
Sure. And what's the thing that you need to work on? What do you know that you need to improve?
Oh, there are like a lot of things. Like first of all is communication. Second of all could be throwing utility. But
Okay.
like I've seen an interview of Ne0 talking about Monesi, what he has to work on, and it's legit the same thing Bird from Sky told me I have to work on.
Okay.
Like it's not only communication that the opponent is there, go there or something, but it's just putting the pieces together, my teammates around me, and all of that. And it can be a little bit harder in Danish because there are again certain terms I have to use, and
Sure.
I have to be fast, and you know it can be a bit hard, but
Oh, I can
it
imagine.
works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, talk me about the comparison between the two sides, right? Between Fnatic Rising and Copenhagen Flames. Obviously, at the academy level, it's quite tough because you can't compete in all the tournaments, especially if the main team are competing somewhere further down the line. I think that was a problem that a lot of them came through. Miles and XT had the same thing, right? There was a while where Miles and XT were actually ranked higher than the main team, but the main team already had all the invites, they couldn't compete, etc. But talk about the difference in terms of playstyle. What was kind of the biggest thing for you? Do you prefer Copenhagen Flames playstyle because you're freer, or did you prefer Fnatic Rising, or what is it for you?
I can't really compare it because right now I'm playing full time. So like it's not really about the playstyle of the team. Of
Sure.
course, Bird from Sky uses me a lot, as I said. We have a lot of plays where I start the round or just playing after plans and a lot of
Sure.
things. But like I'm hitting my shots more than I used to. I
Okay,
can
there we
do
go.
everything. I can play rifle now, and Bird from Sky uses me as a rifler sometimes if it's needed. Like I'm just saying, I just need to pop off heads, I would say,
Are you more
because
confident, do you think?
yeah, I'm way more confident, like way more,
That's
because
good.
I know the potential of my other teammates. Like they can restore around or reset it if I
Yeah.
die. Like I'm not thinking about the thing that what happens if I'm dying. Like should I take that? Should I take that pick? That risk? No, I'm just confident in my picks, and most of the times it works.
Of course. Well, I mean, another thing that potentially could have helped you got a bit of tier one experience when you played for the Fnatic main team. How did that come about? When you were kind of playing with Fnatic Rising, then you got called up to the first team to play for a little bit, and you started to play against kind of the more tier one opponents. How did that, conversation start within the organization, and how did it feel to kind of get the opportunity to kind of, show yourself on what is the biggest stage?
I mean, it wasn't like an opportunity because we didn't play any tier one teams, and I wasn't really full time invested in the game.
Sure.
I had some exams as well, so I couldn't be at my peak level.
Hmm.
But after all, the feedback was good. Like the feedback I got from players like Prims, like
Of course. Yeah.
it felt great. Um, so yeah, the feedback helped me, but like there was no opportunity, I would say.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, I feel like I'm playing better opponents right now with Copenhagen Flames.
Sure, sure. When you got called up to Fnatic, were you told that it was only going to be, for a brief amount of time? It was just, you're coming in temporarily, or were you told that there was potentially an opportunity for it to be long term?
No, they told me that they need help ASAP, so I hopped in, but
Easy.
it was like such a chaos because I had those exams in the exact time of RMR qualifications,
That's
and we
rough.
couldn't really practice, and I was new, and yeah, it was a lot of things, but like I tried my best.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on you as well to kind of be juggling school and full time CS:GO. So I don't envy you there at all. But of course, now with the roster doing really well as Copenhagen Flames, what's next for the Flame side? You're starting to win a lot of the tier two tournaments. You're being very very competitive. You're essentially starting to be seen as kind of one of the best teams within tier two. What's the kind of the next step for Copenhagen Flames? What's the goals?
I don't really know the goals. I know my own goals
Okay, what's yours?
to hit like top 20, to
Nice.
qualify to RMR at least,
Yeah.
those things. But I don't know. It feels easy to talk about it because
Mhm.
I feel like we are working a lot.
Sure.
Um, we are going to have a boot camp again, and it's just for practice. Like we have no tournaments, I
Sick.
think. So like the investment of the organization is there as well. Like people are working for us as well.
That's awesome. So, for the RMR, what's the preparation like? Obviously, you mentioned last time you didn't quite make it through to Rio, but you've got kind of, Paris just around the corner. What's the preparation going to be like? I know you're boot camping. Is it going to be like really knuckling down over kind of December and January, getting ready for those RMRs?
Uh, I don't really know. We're not really practicing for RMRs right now. Like we're not thinking about it. It's just me thinking about it that I really want to be there because I've never been.
Of
Um,
course.
but yeah, it's just the hard work we put in. Like now, I feel like we are still like ready for RMR,
Sure.
but we can practice even more. Like we need more tournaments to see better opponents because we
Yeah.
have never played a tier one official. No, no, we haven't. So we
Okay.
have never played a really good team.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. Well, last couple of questions just on the CS:GO topic. I wanted to ask, you've been experienced then, so you played for Fnatic Rising, Fnatic Main Team, now Copenhagen Flames, bit of game agents as well. I wanted to ask who's the kind of the best player that you've ever played with? Who's the best player in your opinion that you've ever, had the chance to play in an official with?
Uh, but from Sky,
Okay, why's that?
because his game sense is so good. His mentality is so good. Like we had rough games where we got comeback so many times,
Mhm.
insane comebacks, and he kept like his sanity and he was calm and he was calling good.
Sure.
And I feel like he's always helping each other, like all the others, sorry, in
Mhm.
the team while he's playing. Like he sometimes he prefers to die to help some others. I don't know.
Love it.
And he's like he's the first IGL to ever like say that thing of dropping me up and he's playing just a pistol. Like it's kind of crazy to me.
Okay.
We still have this problem in the team where he's saying just ask for a weapon, I will drop you, and I'm like thinking no, that's like egoistic. Like I don't
Yeah.
really want to. I don't want you to play a bad weapon. Like
Mhm.
do your play, you know. But yeah, it's nice. Not only because he's dropping me weapons, but like he's putting me in good positions as well. Like really, really, really good. And
That's
sometimes
sick.
he's saying that just keep that angle. He will come sometime.
Mhm.
Of course, sometimes he's like not really right in his calls, but like
Mhm.
we trust in him so much. At
It's
least I
working.
do. So it's working. Yeah.
Exactly, love to see it. Well, I want to ask on the other side, who's kind of the best player you've ever played against, right? You've played against a vast variety of teams. Who do you think in an official is the best person you come against where you just couldn't touch them? They were just too good.
Mir.
Oh, okay, sure.
But it's not because I couldn't touch him, but it was because his play like his play style is crazy.
Hmm.
He could have killed like two or three of my teammates till I killed him, or he could have been behind me or somehow doing a
Okay.
play. Yeah,
Was it
it's
was this
crazy.
him when he was in Entropic or in Spirit?
I played against him in Entropic.
Okay, yeah, he was a bit of a beast, especially when he first came in. I remember he was just like untouchable. So yeah, that makes complete sense. And of course, the last question, just on the CS:GO topic, you kind of sort of briefly touched on this earlier, but when you were really getting involved into kind of competitive CS:GO and you were starting to play through, did you ever have like an idol, someone you looked up to as a player who you say, I kind of want to replicate their play style, I want to be like them?
Yeah, it has always been simple
Of course, of course.
since he joined Liquid. And it was all that drama of Toxic Simple. Like I was watching it, I was enjoying it.
Love it.
But then I've watched like his whole progress, and yeah, it's just crazy how good he is.
Exactly, exactly. Well, we can move on to kind of the more kind of the personal question. So, if I'm right in saying you grew up in Romania, what was life like growing up? What was what did you like to do? What was life like?
Yes, I mean I liked school when I was
Mhm.
little. Um, yes, I was living in my hometown called Iași.
Okay,
Uh, it's pretty cool. Like I don't know if there are any pro players from there. It was like one called Cosmin. He played for Epsilon long time ago.
sure.
Um, but then, yeah, like it was kind of chill city. And not that much to say about it because I was always playing CS when I was coming back home.
There we go. Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of esports? You know, some people like regular sports, or some people like movies. Do you have anything like that for you?
Uh, Not right now. No, I just enjoy going outside with some friends.
Nice.
But yeah, sometimes I enjoy some Netflix or some series,
Of
but
course,
not
of
that
course.
much. I like right now. I'm so invested in CS:GO. Well, because I watch the major and I watch so many tournaments
Yeah.
that I'm thinking it's better to put some extra time in CS than doing something else.
Yeah, I respect it. I really like the kind of the dedication, I guess. And not,
Yeah.
another thing, you kind of mentioned you had exams, you went to school. What did you study? Like, what were your exams for?
I was going to OTX. It was Danish gymnasium. Um,
Okay, right.
high school, yeah.
Yeah.
It was with mathematics and programming. It was something science stuff.
Sure, sure. So if you weren't involved in esports, you weren't a professional CS:GO player anymore. Do you think you'd follow that up, or what do you think you'd be doing if you weren't involved? If you couldn't be a no longer professional player, what do you think you'd do?
I mean, I've thought about it.
Hmm.
Yes, I would have followed actually the software engineering
Nice,
side of things, programming, because yeah, it was chill and I really enjoyed schools at some point
sick.
in Denmark. Like it was nice, but the bad things about it was that I was staying like a lot in school, like to 4 o'clock, sorry,
Hmm.
um, and it was kind of messing my practicing schedule
Of course.
of CS. So yeah, but it was chill, like it was nice.
Fair enough. So I want to ask, of course, what does a daily routine look like for you? You mentioned kind of at the moment you're very full time in terms of CS:GO. What does a routine look like for you? What's your practice like? What's your kind of warm ups, your scrims, etc.? What's it looking like at the moment?
Yeah, right now, yeah. Well, waking up at 9 or 10 and just warming up, drinking a
Of
coffee,
course.
listening to music, and then we are starting the practice at 11, I think.
Hmm.
Uh, and it's mostly to 7 o'clock.
Wow,
Um,
it's long.
yeah, we're practicing a lot. We have 1 hour break, but it's all down to Bird from Sky. Like he is
Hmm.
scheduling those hours, how we are going to practice, what are we going to do for the next day,
Hmm.
and so on. And Cube as well is yeah, is helping him.
Of course. All right. I mean, that's a pretty long day. And then when it gets to 7 p.m., is that you kind of done with CS:GO for the day, or do you go into FPL or FPLC, or do you play scrims or whatever?
I mean, I like to play scrims now that you said about FPL. Like I like to enjoy CS after a hard
Sure.
practice day. Um, and it comes down to what do we have next day. Like if there's any tournament or official match next day, I
Hmm.
would probably play the whole night, not the whole night, but like way more
Sure.
CS face it that match because I want to be ready for the next day.
Hmm.
If there is only a practice day the following day, um, it's only like 1 or 2 matches of face it with some friends, but it's
Sure.
always for fun. Like I don't really take face it seriously.
Yeah.
Uh, I might do soon because Borup from our team
Yes. Yeah.
is kind of teasing me because I have low elo, like, or he has some more elo than me, and like
Sure.
that's yeah,
So you want to get higher than him, basically, just so he can't tease you anymore.
yeah, that tilts me a little bit.
Okay.
So I have to grind face it, I think, in a serious way because I feel like I'm playing a lot.
Yes, yeah, and I guess as well that would help you out. If you start performing really well with Face It, it might actually end up, helping you out in terms of, you're aiming towards games as well.
Yeah, I make sure of that.
Mhm.
My aim has to be on point every official at
Love
least.
it. Easy stuff.
But like when I'm playing Face It, it's mostly premium, and the players are like not that smart. So
Yeah,
I have
it's
to
one way to put
think
it.
if yeah, I just need to do some dumb plays, and they never work in official. I've tried them. Like I remember my worst games of HLTV.
Mhm.
I was doing like some so dumb plays, just like on Face It,
Because they just
and it,
don't
it
think
has
properly and face it, right?
yeah, I don't know.
Well, the last thing I wanted to touch on was kind of how hard was the conversations, or how easy was the conversation with your family and your parents saying, I want to go full time CS:GO. I want to see if I can make this a thing. Was it an easy conversation, or did you have to convince them a little bit?
It was very easy,
Oh, that's good.
surprisingly, because while it was the COVID situation,
Mhm.
those games from Romanian scene were like live streamed on YouTube,
Oh,
and
sure.
there were a lot of people watching because yeah, everybody was staying in their
Mhm.
houses, and my parents saw the potential. Like my parents saw how people were talking about me,
Mhm.
and then the same thing about Fnatic Rising. My parents saw it and they agreed with it. Um, yeah, basically, I didn't ask for their allowance to go full professional. I just said that I'm going to.
Yeah, fair enough. But they've always
But
been
they,
supportive and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
That's awesome. That's really good. Well, we could kind of move on to kind of the more sort of Twitter and Reddit questions. And the first one's actually quite relevant because you were talking about how you're now speaking in Danish. How many languages do you speak?
uh, English, Romanian, and Danish. But like, uh, Danish, it's like so hard sometimes if I if I don't sleep enough.
Okay, right. You have to think more.
Yeah, yeah, because I'm still thinking in English while I play CS.
Sure.
Because I suppose the question is regarding CS, not just
Yes, yeah, of
generally.
course. Well, I think maybe even generally as well. Like, just how many languages do you speak?
Yeah, then it's just English, Danish, and Romanian. But like, it's even harder in CS. It's so hard to speak Danish in CS, I
And to
think.
get things out quickly, right?
Yeah, I kind of got used to it, but if there's any pressure and if we are losing an official game and I have to think for myself and then what I'm going to do and all of that, it's so hard. And I think I would like, on a LAN tournament,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be even harder.
Ooh, okay. Well,
Because
the RMR maybe.
yeah, because me as a person, I'm not really talkative. Like I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of not that kind of person.
Sure, sure.
Um, and it's also like a bad thing that I haven't played with Danish people while I was going to a Danish school.
Yes, yeah. So I
So
want
I,
to talk about that as well.
yeah,
Did you move to Denmark, and is that why you know Danish?
yeah, I moved to Denmark when I was 12.
Okay, right. I was wondering because I saw when you joined Copenhagen Flames, I didn't realize you spoke Danish. So I needed to ask kind of how that began. Like, how did you know Danish? 'Cause I wasn't sure if it was a common thing in Romania, for example, or whatever.
I moved with my parents when I
Sure.
was 12, and now I moved back to Bucharest.
Right, right.
But the way of living while I'm playing CS and I really want to make it to tier 1,
Hmm.
it doesn't really allow me to have a social life. Like it's so hard to
Of
balance them.
course, yeah.
And I see this move as being kind of bad,
Hmm.
actually. Like it's nice to go with friends sometimes and reset after hard days, but
Yeah,
when I have officials and if there will be any more tournaments where I have to go to LANs and if there will be more boot camps, then I would have no time for my friends as well.
of course, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of tough.
It's the sacrifice, isn't it, for the
Yeah,
career in a way. Yeah. So
yeah.
if you had a choice of kind of you speak three languages, if you had a choice, it was fully up to you, but the same level of team, what language would you prefer to kind of play CS:GO in? English, Romanian, or Danish?
Uh, I mean, it would be English, I think, because as I
Okay.
said, I'm speaking in English, but only if Bird from Sky is coming with, because I still have to learn some more.
Sure.
Yes,
Fair enough. Another person asked, "What's your warm up routine?"
warm-up routine. It's just 1 hour of DM before practice
Okay.
and 1 hour of DM before sleep.
Okay, all right. So 2 hours a day. That's pretty good. I mean, it keeps you on point.
Yeah.
Someone else asked, is there any kind of up and coming young players that you think are potentially going to be pretty special in the future? And any young guys that you've kind of noticed from watching other tournaments, maybe even We Play, for example, that you think are potentially going to be maybe make the push in towards tier one?
I haven't watched anymore. We play.
Mhm.
I can't think about anyone. Maybe from Romania. Like I'm
Mhm.
playing with some friends and they are kind of young.
Sure.
Like there's one player called FNL.
Okay.
He's kind of good. Um, Up and coming players that are not proven yet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I still think Blitz, for example, like he's not
Yeah.
in the best team right now. I think
Mhm.
he has no team right now, but I've always believed in him as well. Um, so yeah, he might be the next thing if he gets a good team.
We love to see it.
Uh, I have another friend from OG Academy called Sound. Like
Oh
he's also
yes.
good,
Yeah.
but he has like to work a lot with that team
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
I feel like that's not like as an academy team. I don't feel like they're that good.
Yeah, they'd be struggling a little bit. I think they kind of there are quite a few changes as well.
Yeah, they had a lot of changes, so they
Mhm.
have to settle down and work, I think.
Someone else asked, how does it feel kind of growing up playing CS:GO within the Romanian scene? Because it's kind of, it is one of the smaller regions where, not as many eyes are on it, and it's not as kind of, big and prevalent as kind of the Danish or the Swedish scene. When you start playing CS:GO competitively, do you think it's, a very tough task to try and make it professional?
In Romania, yeah. Because the process it seems easy
Mhm.
if you follow my way. Like,
Sure.
just need a mix of some friends
Mhm.
and compete in the Romanian tournaments, which are all open to everybody, like open
Yes.
qualifiers and so on. There are no invitations and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
you can really beat a good team from Romania if you have some good friends, and then prove yourself in what's coming next. Like, it depends from tournament to tournament.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, you just have to work a lot and beat them to beat the others. I would say so. Like,
Okay,
beat
sure.
your scene first, you know.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
then you can kind of make it into the professional. So someone else asked if you were going to build a Romanian kind of super team, all Romanian players, but it's got to include yourself. Give me the team. So you've
Do
got
I?
to be in the team, and then
Okay.
and then four other Romanian players. Who's your dream team?
Yeah. So I have to put the two major players, I am
Yes.
and Lonex,
Yeah.
then Blitz, then me, and then we need an IGL, and I would put FNK from Prodigy's.
Okay, the prodigies. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I've played with him in Game Agents, and he was so nice. Like, we are still friends. Like, we are still talking.
Hmm.
It like in Game Agents, it was like a team of creating friends.
Yeah, yeah. See, I do a lot of casting work for the prodigies as well, and FNK always consistently putting up unreal performances. So it's kind of good to see that he's recognised. Maybe he could be kind of following your footsteps pretty soon. They seem to be doing pretty well. So
Yeah.
so another one. What's your favorite food or snack?
Favorite food is pizza.
Pizza, classic. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
What's your favorite topping then?
It's just pepperoni pizza, I think.
Standard. You're a standard man. I
Yeah,
like it. I
yeah,
like it.
standard. And snacks like Kinder, anything from Kinder.
Okay,
Uh,
Kinder
yeah,
Buenos for me.
yeah,
10 out of
that
10.
one.
10 out of 10. So, and another one I kind of want to touch on is just the end. The last kind of few questions. Kind of, what are your thoughts on Valorant? You ever played it? You have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I've played it when it was beta as well, but
Hmm.
I've played it recently as well. Um, I don't know, like, people really think that roles matter when we are
Sure.
playing like diamond or platinum, but
Yeah.
doesn't really. And they're like so, like, they're arguing about everything. Like, that's your role, you should stay behind and all of that. But like, the game itself is nice.
Hmm.
Uh, the hitbox is there.
Oh,
The
yeah, yeah.
I don't really like the op there or the sniper.
It's
Like,
slow, isn't it?
it's so bad, yeah. I never play it,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's kind of cool. Except of the, like, some of the power things
Oh,
or
yeah.
the
The abilities
skills,
and that.
the abilities, yeah, they are kind of messing around. Like, I remember one, it's coming like from somewhere from the sky and it's just killing everybody. I don't know. It tilts me so much. Like, I remember I left the game because of that. I was like diffusing and somebody killed me somehow.
Oh, I know exactly. Yeah, the orbital strike thing, like the big laser
Yeah,
from
yeah,
above.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I know
yeah,
exactly what you mean. Yeah. So,
yeah.
would you ever be tempted to kind of make the switch? Like, if you got like a really good offer to maybe play kind of tier one or franchise Valorant, would you ever be tempted, or is it kind of not a game that you see yourself playing competitively?
Uh, nah, it's not really a game that I would like to play for the rest of my life or
Sure.
just so much time. It's just too cartoonish as well. I don't really like cartoonish stuff. I don't. I don't.
That's absolutely fair enough. Yeah, yeah. Well, the last question is: do your family watch your games? Do they kind of, do they ever tune in to watch you play in your officials and stuff?
Yeah, I believe they are watching every game.
That's
Uh,
sick.
my uncle as well. I know they are really invested into that. They are writing to me, "Hey, congrats! When we're winning,
Awesome.
it's nice. The support is there."
That's really, really good to see. Well, mate, thank you very much. That
Yeah.
concludes kind of all of our questions. I'll open the floor up if you want to kind of shout out anything. All your kind of socials are below your head this way, so they're all there. But, if you want to shout anything out, feel free.
Nah, there's not really that much to say. Just thank you for supporting me, and yeah, everybody, like, it was crazy until now, and it will be even crazier for the next year.
Exactly. Looking forward to it. Well, brother, thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you everyone at home for watching as well. It's been great to have you along. Make sure to kind of subscribe, like all of the other stuff. Check out Regali's socials. They're all linked below, and you can see it kind of below his head as well. So go and check all of those out. But appreciate everyone swinging by, and we'll see you all soon. Peace out.
Thank you.